an unlicensed doctor who goes around stitching wounds and amputating limbs. His main weapons are a straight razor, a set of forceps, and the advice of a fortune teller. He also uses a wheelchair with 2 sets of legs. His name is a play on the word doctor, as in, I don't need a doctor, I'm a doctor. His personality is that of an evil mastermind. He appears to have no motive for his crimes, though he does enjoy watching the patient scream in agony. In the case of the disappearing crime lord, he states he would be perfectly happy with all criminals being executed and their bodies displayed in a museum. He is first encountered by Nero when investigating the murder of a circus clown. It turns out that he is the one responsible for the crime, as he wanted to take a new assistant. After Nero defeats him, Dr. Necro decides to change his ways and sets up his clinic in the basement of his house. He later encounters Nero again while he is investigating the death of a rich woman, whom Nero finds out was killed by her own butler. Dr. Necro returns again in the case of the Pearl-Winged Poodle, where he is hired by the Thieves Guild to find an ill-gotten diamond that is causing a rash of crime throughout the city. After some investigation, he discovers it was stolen by an actress. After Nero and Mo head to the theater to get the diamond back, Dr. Necro appears and confronts Nero about it being too dangerous for him to be around, as his butler had told him that the diamond was cursed. After Nero defeats Dr. Necro's butler, Nero gets the diamond, but is then attacked by Dr. Necro's wolf, which is actually the curse in disguise. In the case of the Eternal Abyss, Dr. Necro returns again, this time with a new butler, who reveals that the previous butler's death was actually an elaborate scheme by Dr. Necro. After Dr. Necro and his butler leave, Nero arrives and sees them fleeing the scene of a crime. Afterwards, he goes to Moe's bar to investigate, and discovers that the culprit was actually a man who had been murdered by his wife. When Nero confronts them at the hotel they were staying at, he discovers that she was actually the previous victim's sister, and that the entire crime spree was actually an elaborate plan to rob a bank, which Dr. Necro had convinced her to do. After Nero defeats Dr. Necro's new butler and gets the diamond, the man's body starts transforming into a zombie, revealing that Dr. Necro is the one responsible for the murders. Dr. Necro appears again in the case of the Shady character, where he is called in by Inspector Nero to investigate a series of strange disappearances. While there, he witnesses Nero arrest a woman named Celia, and is later seen celebrating with her in the police station's jail. He later calls Inspector Nero, informing him that Celia has been captured by a cult of the Man-Haters. When Celia is released from the cult, she tries to escape from Dr. Necro's house, but is soon found by him again. He then shows Celia some of his favorite things, such as his collection of human bones. After he forces her to stay the night at his house, she attempts to escape from the attic only to be caught by Dr. Necro again. Celia attempts to escape once more, only to be caught by Dr. Necro yet again. She then manages to escape using a secret passageway. Dr. Necro appears once again in the case of the Curious Curio, where he is called in by Inspector Nero to investigate the mysterious locked room at the museum. After defeating several of Dr. Necro's henchmen and obtaining the key from him, Inspector Nero enters the room only to discover that it was nothing more than a trap set by Dr. Necro. Dr. Necro then appears in the room and reveals that he was simply having some fun at Nero's expense. He then leaves, leaving Nero confused. He makes another appearance in the case of the Lethal Locket, where he is first seen with Celia as she is preparing for a big show at the theater. Afterwards, he takes Celia and several other women hostage, locking them all in a room in the basement of his home. After giving Celia and several other women a magical locket with a curse in it, he escapes to his home and locks himself inside with the other women. The curse causes all of the women to become a homicidal maniac. Inspector Nero then appears, and after a struggle, kills all of the women except for Celia. Afterwards, Inspector Nero gets the locket from Dr. Necro and destroys it. Dr. Necro makes yet another appearance in the case of the Cursed Canary, where he is first seen preparing to host a party for a bunch of celebrities. Afterwards, he shows his guests around his house, and they are shocked at its sheer size and horror. After Dr. Necro shows them some of his favorite things, such as the corpses of his victims, his guests are disturbed enough to flee. He then hears some noise coming from one of his secret rooms and heads towards it. only to find that his butler and Celia are fighting over control of his mansion. Afterwards, Celia forces Dr. Necro out of his house, locks him inside the room, and destroys the door. Dr. Necro returns once more in a case of the sinister spectre, where he is first seen hosting another party for various criminals. After Mo tries to steal some of his guests' possessions, he goes off to investigate. Afterwards, Dr. Necro explains that the spectre was a hallucination caused by an old curse cast on him by his former partner. After a short battle, Inspector Nero arrives and defeats Dr. Necro. He returns in the case of the Phantom Pianist, where he is first seen hosting another party for a bunch of criminals. Afterwards, Mo asks him to investigate some strange occurrences happening in his house, only to be interrupted by the arrival of Inspector Nero. Afterwards, Inspector Nero fights and defeats Dr. Necro, who it is revealed to have been the one who has been playing the pianos, and escapes. Afterwards, Celia gets her hands on a magical lute that she was told that it belonged to Dr. Necro, and uses it to make Dr. Necro return to normal. Afterwards, she tells Nero that she has been researching the magical instruments in Dr. Necro's collection and has learned that all of them are cursed.